California City Amateur Radio Club. On June 22nd and 23rd, the California City Amateur Radio Club will be participating in the annual ARRL Field Day. We'll be operating out of the Bob Parker Scout Hut. It's a really great opportunity for anybody who'd like to know what ham radio is all about. Come see us. We'll be operating with generators. The idea is to hone our skills on how to operate in case we're needed when there's no emergency services available or power goes out. We'd like to invite you to come and see us. We'll start operating at noon, 11 o'clock Saturday morning till 11 o'clock Sunday morning. It's a great opportunity to see what these people who have towers and antennas in the yard, what we're about. And we might be able to get you on the air. If you have any questions about our club, check out our website. It's www.ke6rn. Phonetically, that's Kilo Echo 6 Romeo November.com. Hope we can see you there. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else for public or for civic or community organizations?
Hi, I'm Debbie Phones, mom of Devery Schiller, and I'm here to give you a brief rundown on where we're at as far as the fundraising for the memorial in Central Park. With the help of CCPD and Vanessa Victim Services, we are working on putting together a community affair for Saturday, June 29th, 2019, to be held at Central Park. We're still in the process of hammering out all the details. As soon as we are able, the details will be released to the public. Due to the fact that my concept of time is terrible and desire of others to take part in this, the fundraising event will take place shortly after the anniversary of my daughter's death or murder. Whereas previously I had hoped to do a sort of groundbreaking for the memorial on the anniversary, I now see this way may in fact work out to our advantage in some way, or in more ways than one. The biggest advantage now being time. That being said, my new amended plan is as follows. I'm hoping to continue working on fundraising for this project in various ways throughout the summer, and if all goes well, I'm hoping to have the memorial completed and ready for to be dedicated by October 17th, 2019, as that would have been Devery's 27th birthday. I would also like to add that while I am doing this for my daughter, I have no intention whatsoever of leaving out the other 7 victims and have already come up with ways of including them all. Dr. Thorbus, Matthew Lillinger, Desiree Thompson, Charles Piper, Dimitri Thomas, Austin Tharp, and Pete Hammond will all be represented, as they each have a place in my heart and have each become an integral become a part of my life as it is today. I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other community or civic organization announcements? Consent calendar. All items on the consent calendar are considered routine and non-controversial and will be approved with one motion. If no member of the council, staff, or public wishes to comment or ask questions, public comments are limited to 3 minutes. And please, and roll call, a vote is required. CC1 is the city check registry dated 6/6 of 19. CC2, approved council minutes dated 5/1, 18, 9, 11, 18, 11, 13, 18, 11, 19, 18, 11, 27, 18, 4, 5, 19, 4, 23, 19, and 5, 28, 19. CC3, adopt resolution number 619-2790 of the California City, of the City Council of the City of California City supporting balanced energy solutions and maintaining local control of energy solutions. CC4, adopt a resolution number 619-2791 of the City Council of the City of California City authorizing the submittal of an application acceptance of an allocation of funds, execution of a grant agreement contingent upon final approval for an airport improvement grant by the Federal Aviation Administration and the California Department of Transportation, that is Caltrans, and certifying the availability of city share of matching funds for the construction of the airport fencing and security upgrades project, and to authorize BHT Engineering Inc. to perform project construction management and grant closeout. With that being said, does anybody have any questions in reference to CC 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Good evening, Al Hudson. I have a question. This is a general question on the check register. Why in the world are there so many refunds? If you look at there's about 3 pages of refunds to individuals, and how and why is that happen? Why and how are they being overcharged?
Madam City Manager,
For the water? Yeah, that'd be for the water.
if you can just go ahead and make a response, and we'll mail it to them that way.
I think it's appropriate for that response to be here at the meeting. That's the
Mr.
question I was going to ask as well, so.
Mr. Mayor, on that point, I think that that your instructions to have the Finance Department mail responses to us is futile, because it plain and simply has not, and is not being done, is being defied. I have repeatedly asked for financial information on the water line replacement, and we just get blanks. So that is futile. And I'm right here with Dr. Nick, or Councilman Nick, on it. This is a proper request for public.
So in terms of why there seems to be a lot of refunds and overpayments in this particular register, I want to reiterate something that the mayor mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, which was there is a duplicate of some of the pages in the register. That being said, the overpayments and the deposits that are being processed on a monthly basis are due to people closing accounts, and we're refunding their deposits or any type of overpayment that they might have incurred during their account.
Okay, but the city's cause of it, because the people are just not magically billed.
That's correct.
Okay, because this has been happening on a kind of a regular basis, but not to the extent that's on this check register.
We're aware of that. Believe me, we're aware of that. Thank you. Any other questions dealing with CC 1, 2, 3, or 4? Seeing none, coming up here.
Yes, check number 105498, Central Valley Occupational Pre-Employment B. Smith, for $2,668. I'm at a loss for words. So it seems extremely high from what we've been used to seeing. Where are we employing this person at?
I think it's going to be multiples. I think it's going to be multiple employees. I I think, yeah. Oh, our time's up, sorry. Yes, ma'am.
It represents more than one person.
Do we know how many?
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 employees.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. Any other questions, sir?
Let's go to page 11 of the check register, very top, Entron LLC.
What's check number?
We've got 105518.
That's when they.
That's been pulled.
That's been
All
pulled.
of it's been pulled?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Any other questions, sir? Dr. Nick?
Good.
You good? Sir? Okay. That being said, looking for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Looking for a second?
Second.
Motion made by Dr. Nick, second by Mayor Pro Tem Stump. Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Lucinovich,
Yes.
Paris,
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Stump,
Yes.
Mayor McGuire.
Yes.
Motion carried.
New business 1. Replacement of 2 swamp coolers at the city animal shelter. Police Chief Hurtado.
Thank you, Mayor. The animal shelter is currently without the use of their 2 swamp coolers. We're attempting to cut costs by not operating air conditioning units in the shelter by using a swamp cooler. Currently, we're keeping the temperatures down within the shelter by the use of some animal control or air conditioning units that were donated for animal control. The AC units do draw a lot of electricity and are intended for temporary use only. The units that have been out there were, over the last few years, slowly degrading. Last year, I think one was operational for part of the year, and it's just fallen apart. We sent out 3 informal bids. Western Equipment Service for $8,874. The next one came from MCore Services, $7,399, and the last one, Excel Mechanical Systems, not to exceed $7,000. All the quotes are included in your packet, and staff's recommendation is to allow city manager to sign a contract with the lowest bid, Excel Mechanical Systems, to perform the needed replacement for a cost not to exceed $7,000. And Diego explained the finance earlier in the meeting. That's it.
Anybody from the public? Anybody from the public have any questions in reference to the subject matter? Seeing none, coming up here. Any questions, sir? Sir?
Were any of the local AC people contacted and requested for bids?
Their names. ASAP. I'll have to get back. It was which-
ASAP's one of them.
ASAP, Reliable.
Really?
They have a contractor?
Yeah. We sent out, obviously, the locals, but I don't think we got anything back.
Okay.
I can let the city manager know tomorrow for all the locals and where we're at with them.
Questions, sir?
That's it.
Any questions, sir? That being no other questions, looking for a motion to authorize the interim city manager to sign the contract with Excel Mechanical Systems as presented.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Stump, second by Dr. Nick, or Councilman Lucinovich, sorry. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Lucinovich?
Yes.
Paris?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Stump?
Yes.
Mayor McGuire?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Public business from the floor. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the city council on any matter not on this agenda and over which the city council has jurisdiction. Please state your name for the record, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Catherine Efford Floyd. Mayor, council, members of the public. I'm here to request the council to consider waiving the 200-foot requirement from residential zoned R1 property so that I could put a delivery only in my office on California City Boulevard. You're talking about no storefront, you're talking about automobiles and drivers going in and out of the office, probably less traffic than I have now. I talked to the planning department and they supported it. He told me to ask the city manager. She's been not available right now, or hasn't been available today anyway. But if we could, if you would be willing to waive that or consider waiving that, then I would go to the people that are right directly behind me, because the R1 property is directly behind California City Boulevard. It's the houses face Xavier, and the properties on both sides are commercial of my office. But it would be ideal for our group, location-wise, and of course for me. If you would consider that, and maybe at a later date, or talk to the attorney or whatever, it would be most appreciated. We are working on doing something on the property at Cal City Boulevard, like maybe a motel and a restaurant, because someday I hope to put a retail outlet there as well, and that's what's required. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening again, Hudson. On the upcoming budget, the council needs to direct the interim city manager to direct the finance direct, include a budget line item to fund an audit by the state controller, or at a bare minimum funding for the forensic audit that the Kern County Grand Jury has said that is sorely needed. So would you please do that? May I poll the council and ask who would support that? The budgetary funding for those, for the funding of those audits. The reason I'm asking for this is because over the last few years we have been arguing for an audit by the state controller, and one of the excuses for non-audit is that there was no funding. So in order to negate that excuse, there needs to be funding in the budget to do that. And will this council do that? That's a simple yes or no answer.
Well, I personally have no problem with that, but again, we will bring it up during budget time and see.
Well, no, okay, you can bring it up during the budget, but would you give us an indication that funding for the state controller or the forensic audit be made available?
I don't have a problem with that.
Asking us to take an action.
Yeah, and we can't take an action right now.
Exactly. Just under the Brown Act, this particular item hasn't been agendized, so I would recommend the council not poll or vote in any manner on it.
Well, sir, under the Brown Act, things can be commented on during the council's repertoire.
It's a gray area.
So don't say something is black and white when it isn't. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. My name is Ariel Kohane, and mainly I come here. I want to thank first the people from the animal control. They are doing fantastic job. I've been in other cities, but they are really great. They love the animals, but I think they need a little more help with the money. Whatever you can do for them, I think that would be good. And another comment, I come very often to this building, and also I want to mention the city workers, the service is excellent, but I believe they're very much overworked. Then if you could consider to hire more people, I think would be better for the whole city, because business could move better and faster. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor and Council, Jeannie O'Laughlin, California City. I just want to give kudos to Sean Monk in the planning department. So one of my clients was having an issue with our CEQA, one of the favorite words in the cannabis industry right now. And he went above and beyond to research what the needs were and determined that we qualified for a categorical exemption. Did all the paperwork, made sure that all the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed. We had our directors meeting. The public was there, and it was passed. So I just wanted to give him thanks for helping us with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Way to go, Sean. Nice job. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Mary Wadey speaking, California City. I just have, I think it's 2 questions. Questions about any businesses coming into the city, and also any opportunity to work with the county with bringing other businesses into the area.
That is an excellent question, and I'm going to have to defer that. Well, we got Alberto's, but I don't know when they're going to open. There's buildings up, but I don't know about that.
Does any
checking?
The planning department would have.
Yeah, planning department should
an
have
application, and so would the city clerk.
Yeah. So with the information, so you might check with planning. They're probably going to be more on top of it.
Okay, has anyone came to this, does the city manager, interim city manager know of any of those businesses that may have came forward that,
Are you talking about retail or cannabis or what?
retail, any business?
Right now, we've got 9 cannabis businesses going at right now.
Well, not necessarily cannabis businesses,
Yeah.
but
I saw Alberto's, I saw the people over there, and I talked to a guy who's going to be the manager, and he said right now, this was about maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, and he said they're going through the process of trying to get people to hire. So I guess they were, and they had a sign in their window that said, now hiring. So I guess they're looking at who they're hiring and who they're training, and they're going to fix their window, their drive-through window, I guess. Some kind of way they didn't do that right. So, but I guess he's gone and selected a bunch of people in the city who he's hiring. The sign was up there for quite a while.
okay, and that's Alberto's. But are there any other businesses or corporations interested in coming to this area, whether it's establishing an anchor corporation or business out off of 58 or 14? Has the city thought about, talking with the county and bringing some of those businesses out here? Because Bakersfield has, they picked up a lot of business.
But one thing, Dr. O'Laughlin out there used to teach business, and so did I. And when you do business plans and you look at a city that only has the population that we have, it'd be hard to justify like a Walmart or some place like that. It would be very difficult to justify them coming out here. There's just not enough business. So right now, the cannabis industry, I went by the one on Moss that's run by Gomez and Ellison and Heller, and they have local people working in there. So, I mean, I'm sure all of the cannabis industries, as they promised us before, are keeping their word like those three gentlemen are, and they're hiring local people. So I think the prudent thing to do would be probably to contact Mr. Monk over here, and he can tell you maybe where the location of some of those businesses are, and if you contact those business owners, most of them are hiring local people, as they said when they came and got their licenses.
Okay, well, I mean, that part is good, but they can only hire a limited number of people based on their qualifications per the state of California and the federal and the DEA. But I'm looking at, my question is just bringing in other retail, not just the cannabis, but other big businesses coming to the area. We don't have to just focus on California City. We have Bull Run, North Edwards, Mojave. So that's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, let's check with the county since those are all county areas.
I think
Okay.
Alexia, that used to be the chamber president, is a regional employee of the Kern Economic Development Corporation, I think. And at her,
Yes.
she is assigned and looking for business opportunities in our region. So she's actually
Check
probably
with-
the most active person in that solicitation of new businesses.
You might check there at the chamber because she's
Yes,
there at the
I'm
chamber.
familiar with her and her position. I know they're evaluating the area and have to get a report in, but I'm just saying actively right now, do we have any businesses coming out here? And then
Nothing.
can we coordinate with the county with helping us bring in businesses such as like, well, right now, Amazon, is it Amazon? Amazon in Bakersfield that came out, L'Oreal that came out there in certain areas on the outskirts and distribution-wise. So we can use those type of businesses out here. They don't necessarily have to be in Cal City, but if they were locally in the area anchored in certain places like you would do at the mall, that would bring other businesses to this area. All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else? Seeing nobody else, council agenda. This portion of the meeting is reserved for council members to present information, announcements, and items that have come to their attention. The Brown Act precludes council staff and public discussion. Short staff responses are appropriate. The council will take no formal action. A council member may request the city clerk to calendar an item for consideration at a future meeting or refer an item to staff. First of all, anybody have any AB 134s or 1234s? Okay, Councilman Lucinovich.
We've been going around and round about the audit of the city's finances, and I think it's appropriate that the council be given a report that actually details some of the issues that have been coming up so that we can actually then turn around and be informed and able to inform our community as well. But I'd like it to be an actual report of the critical issues and how timely the resolve will be of that.
Absolutely. I am working with City Manager Anna, and we are putting that report together. In the interim, I have been working with our outside auditors, giving them all the information that they've requested in terms of sample size, so they can sample items, any kind of adjustments that we've seen that they've suggested and that we're also reviewing. It's going good. We're just sort of putting out a timeline where we're able to provide them with all the information that they need. But I will be putting that in a report, that along with the other audits that we're currently working on, and we'll send it to the city manager, and she can distribute it to council.
Thank you.
Anything else, sir? Sir.
I was just, I went to my 45th college reunion this past weekend, and it was in St. Paul, Minnesota, but I was, some of my friends were officials, elected officials in St. Paul and in Minneapolis.
They had colleges back then?
Yeah, they had, we learned on stone tablets, but, Hammer and chisel. One thing I've found out, though, that is that, you know, at times in here we might have our fights and so on, but we are no different than anywhere else. Minneapolis is much larger than us, but they have the same issues that we have here. St. Paul, same thing. So a lot of times when some of you are sitting in here and you're saying, darn, you know, this city is terrible and we have this, we are not terrible. We are actually a very good city. And the problems that we have are problems that large cities all over have, problems with expansion. You know, for example, Mall of America, it's a nice place to go, and it's even bigger than it was. It was 512 stores. Now I think it's like 700 stores or something. But they have their issues there, too, because what it did is, you know, all these little bitty strip malls like that we have here, everybody goes to the mall. So it has an effect on the smaller stores, too. And so one thing that I did notice, though, gas is $1 cheaper than it is here. Again, our state charges more for gas than they do. They don't charge money on clothing, but their property tax, you know, if you guys saw what their property tax is, you'd hurry back here to California, even with them having $1 cheaper on gas and no tax on clothing. So every place you go has issues. I'm glad to be back in the city here in California City, and like I said, it was good to be there, but good to be back home. So a lot of times you think about Dorothy when she says there's no place like home, and there is no place like home. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I've just got a couple quick things. We've been asking for the off-road permit sales, and the last one we got was February 18th. This is the last one that we've had, and it's very detailed. It's got all the information we're looking for, and we need this information for budget time, and so we can do some comparison. What I'm asking for is that we get in 7 business days, we get this report covering from October to current, and that if not, I don't know who over there drew the line in the sand, but I'm going to cross it. If we don't get some information for us to, and we need this because we're a legislative body, on the next council meeting, I'll be requesting an agenda item called OHV, and we'll go to talk about possibly suspending indefinitely the OHV program until we get the reports. We need them. We've asked for over a year, and we've been given heartburn. That being said, everybody that's been working for the city has been doing an outstanding job. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Yeah.
Don, Councilman Paris has something in mind.
Oh, yes, sir.
So we were getting payroll and overtime, and then it stopped. They said there was some issues with some of the information that was being put out that should be redacted or censored or whatever. I'd still like to see payroll like we had it before with the overtime, so we have a understanding, the council has an understanding of what is going out. We're at the end of the year, and you know, when we get our financials, we see where they're at, but I want to see the amount of overtime that's been going out.
We can provide that report with the May financials until the end of the year, but we have been provided some payroll and some other type of information, but we can go ahead and add that information you're requesting this evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, if we get that, we can do some analysis ourselves, and that's how before I use previous payrolls to determine the amount of overtime that we need to budget for the year.
That being said, looking for a motion.
I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor to call it a night?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all so very much for coming in tonight.